Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
And welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. And today we're going to talk about setting outcomes instead of goals for 2017. It's that time of the year, and depending on when you're listening to this, where people typically set goals, or as they're commonly called, New Year's resolutions. But what happens? The majority of them go unfulfilled. They become these long lists of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and a couple other things, and nothing happens because life gets in the way and so forth. We have to change our perception. We have to change the way that we look at planning for the new year. This is the typical time of the year people are setting out their objectives. Okay, what do they want to do? That people are thinking bigger. But we need to add a different twist to it, where we're not just setting goals anymore. We have to change that. What we have to focus in on are outcomes. And why outcomes? Well, here's the difference. When we focus on creating outcomes, we focus on creating results. We focus on the benefit of doing something. So that means the way that we get there, it doesn't necessarily matter. I'll give you an example. Let's say that somebody, their objective is to lose weight. This is typically, one of those resolutions or goals that people say for the years. Oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. Well, that's great and all, but then what is the actual result that you're looking for? Some people, it might be they want to fit in a pair of jeans. They want to go and do something. But when we tie it to the wrong objective, we can easily get lost in the process. And let's say that the goal is to fit in a pair of jeans. Well, what if the person, loses those 20 pounds, but they don't fit in the jeans? Then they feel like they failed. So this is why we have to focus in on what the objective is, what the result is. So in that case, if someone's goal is to fit in a certain pair of jeans, does it really matter at that point how many pounds they lost? No. Does it really matter how they got there as long as it's healthy? No, not really. We focus on the objective, and then the path that we take to get there, well, that changes. That is how we have to shift our perspective, because then this helps to eliminate one of those common problems that we experience in life, and that's the infamous to-do list. And especially at the beginning of the year, when you're talking about resolutions, people make long lists of them for the entire year. This leads to the next point. Stop planning for the entire year. With 2017 being a big year, with 365 days, 52 weeks, why plan for the whole year? Break it down to the first quarter, the first 3 months. And why is this? It's the same process like if you're going to lose weight. You're going to break things down into what's the smallest type of chunk. So if you're thinking about 3 months, what do you want to accomplish specifically in those 3 months? Because obviously you can have these bigger goals and bigger results and objectives that you want to achieve in 2017. But what are those first steps that you have to make happen in this process to get there? So for many people, let's continue with this weight loss example. Let's say that they're real objective, for the entire year is they want to lose 20 pounds, but they haven't done much of anything. It might be in the beginning to start off by walking a mile a day for the first, 90 days to build up a new habit, or it might be increasing it slowly but surely. It's developing those new habits where the end goal might be at the end of it, they want to run a 5K at the end of that first quarter. Well, that's perfect. Well, that's the end goal. They want to cross the finish line. This is another little thing. When you're talking about running a race or doing something, you want to focus in on the end result. You want to cross the finish line at a 5K by participating in it. Because then that's the objective. Because here's the thing. Some might say they want to run a marathon, but nothing's ever mentioned about finishing the marathon. You have to program your mind to achieve the things that you're specifically looking for when it comes to creating these results. So when you're focusing in on that first quarter, look at the objectives, look at the results that you specifically want to achieve in your personal life, in your business, with your friends, family. Identify them. Be specific, because specificity matters when it comes to this. It will make all the difference in the world, because then it's going to help you identify what are the most basic things you need to do to get started. You don't need to know every step along the path, because that can easily become overwhelming when we look at stuff. We need to know two things: where the destination is and where do we start. That's it. Everything else we figure out along the way. Here's a great example. Let's say that if you're driving from New York to Los Angeles, you might not know where all the different detours are in every single town. You know that where you're starting at and where your end goal is. So what do? You plan to your best of your ability. I'm going to do X, Y, Z things to get there. And if you hit a little bump of the road, guess what? You make a detour and you keep going. The same thing comes down to when you create your objectives. Because when we focus in on the what, the how appears. It might seem counterintuitive, but we have to know how. No, not necessarily. We need to know what our objective is, what the result we want to achieve, and then we will discover how we're going to get there along the way. So these are the things I want you to focus in on when it comes to your objectives and planning for 2017 and beyond. Focus on 1 quarter at a time, 3-month chunks. Focus on specific results, things that you want to achieve, and break it down into bite-sized chunks. And then just remember, focus on the what, not the how, because the how is going to appear when it's that time. So do these things and make it the best year that you have ever had.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.